Well, Paul, back again.
Well, Garrett.
I think you just come here to play with tractors, you know.
And there's a good selection, you know, so absolutely.
Well, Paul, for Pottinger, and probably all dealers and everybody in the industry out there, it's been a strange year. Getting products in and products out, but one product that you are demoing this year is this thing. Now, it looks like a rake, but it doesn't look like a rake. But it's actually really cool to watch work. So what is this?
Well, you're right, it doesn't look like a rake, but it is a rake, and everyone is wondering. And we haven't reinvented the wheel, I guess, but maybe we have, because what it is a Flowtast. And basically we've removed the wheel system from underneath the rotors and replaced it with what is a big skid pan. And why would you want it? Well, we've seen already the benefit at the moment, ground being so hard, any ground that's poached by grazing or spreading of slurry and dung, it's just so smooth going over that ground. There's no shaking vibration through the machine. It's not striking the ground when it hits the ruts, and it's brilliant in that case. A second case is wet ground, obviously. You know, if you have wet ground and you have to get it raked, you can set a weight alleviation here. It's hydraulically done, so you can set how light or heavy it is on the ground from the spool in the cab. So if you wanting to glide over wet ground, you just run it that bit lighter. And a third application, for in my mind, it was going to have the biggest benefit maybe at this day of the year, is in straw. A lot of guys are tedding out straw now straight away because of big combine headers, and that can be rough terrain. And in this, for this job, it's a huge advantage.
It looks weird, but strangely, when you watch it rowing, it looks incredibly smooth. Because yes, if you're on rough ground, your wheels on your typical rake, you can see them fluctuating and working. So what's the idea behind, like, is it just, you know, after so long you just replace the bottom part, it just becomes like a wear plate then, essentially, even though it's not metal?
Absolutely. It is a wear part. The whole bottom skid is a special hard wearing nylon plastic. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's a similar product that's used in the plough bodies. In some countries they're using that plastic. And yes, you replace it. It depends on your working circumstances, I guess. If you're maybe doing a lot of stubble with stones, maybe it wears faster, maybe it doesn't. We don't really know in Ireland exactly, but this has done a full season. Yesterday was the first time I've used it personally, and I was really, really happy afterwards. Like you say, so smooth. I think you can see that in the swart as well. It was a really nice swart, maybe because she's just steady. It's not bobbling around. And I think it can improve the forward speed as well because of it. But we are missing one crucial element, is the multitask wheel out in front. I still think this machine requires it, because obviously the skid pan is behind the tine like the wheels are, and if you have something in front of the tine, that can't see it. Whereas when you have the multitask out in front, it's still protecting it from what's in front of the tine. So this machine is actually balanced to hold the multitask, so you could see maybe some of the videos letting her down. She was not coming down the nicest, but it requires the multitask too.
Now, min max, so this is a top 842 C.
Yeah.
So what all does that mean?
8.4 meters working width, and C is center swart. But this rake now has been superseded as of today to an 8.882, so a top 882. So it's going to have a wider working width, 8.8 meters maximum. The idea was that there's a lot of wider pickups out there now, and it's just to make a wider swart if you need for your harvester or your baler or whatever. So that's what the numbers equate to, the exact working width at max.
And at the max, so minimum, maximum. So obviously when you've it pulled in, I don't know what is it, like a 7 meters or maybe a wee bit more?
A little bit more, yeah. She's 7.4, I think.
Yeah, something like so.
Something like
so
that,
like
yeah.
a 7.4. So, but it's a great rake. You know, the likes of us yesterday, and this is where the fun was, with the three old harvesters and the older tractors, I suppose, just, you know, having a bit of fun. And you know, the likes of the Pottinger, which is the Mach 6, which is historically, you know, probably a bread and butter product historically for Pottinger in Ireland many, many years ago. Mach 6s, 5s, 6s, everybody had one. And as I understand, you know, in the Pottinger portfolio, they're still available, but people tend to have moved for the wagon in that scenario. But we had it was sorry looking. We had used it and maybe abused it a little bit, myself and even Gary, just, you know, never give it any love. And we decided, do you know what, we're going to take the wee old harvester. We bought it very humble money. Can we tidy it up? And if we tidy it up, so we rang Michael down with you guys in your parts. He's an old Mach 6 expert. Talked through what all we needed. He organised it then, and I suppose effectively it goes to the dealer or whatever. So you can talk to Michael basically. He can organise the parts, it's up to your dealer, you can get your parts. But all the parts we needed for that harvester, we were able to still get direct, made, supplied by Pottinger. And it ran like a mouse eating paper. Did you ever see a wee harvester running as nice?
No, and that's the truth. In my time in Pottinger, I haven't, because, you know, like you say, other products have taken over, and what you see out there maybe is not running as it did day one. But yesterday was an eye-opener to see exactly what that machine could do when it was new, to see why people would have bought them in the day, and to see, you know, medium-sized tractor being able to do such good work with it. You can understand why people would still use such a product. And I definitely had an eye-opener yesterday with that.
Pound for pound, if you want to look at it that way, or horse per whatever way you want to look at it, you take your TM at 100, and I think we dynoed her at 160 horse, say for example, and the Pottinger were just seemed to be matched beautifully. But when you look, even, you know, compare that up to the big 70, 60 on the big, you know, sort of grand area trail harvesters in today's, I'd say pound for pound, the little flywheel Pottinger and the baby TM in comparison was probably doing a better job. Reality, like, that's a hard thing for me to say, because, you know, we invested a lot of money in buying that 1260 and we know it needs horsepower, but I mean, that Pottinger, but back to the rake, you can pull it in and it'll leave you a look, because its limiting factor is its narrow reel, and that's the beauty of having a rake like that.
Absolutely, I agree. You can make a nice row, and with the next generation you can improve that more, because you can make the row even wider.
The rake, I suppose, one of the things that I liked when I was just, and I parked up in the corner of the field just and watched it a couple of times, just when you'd get onto the GPS on the 6910, and I suppose it was Trimble, which you weren't used to, you know, but it just seemed to cover the ground so smooth, and that is something that I get what you're saying about getting down into the ground. You'd like the wheel, but the ground here is pretty clean, but when it looks smooth, chances are it is smooth. And you could see that reflected in the row and the swarth and everything. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I hadn't used it, and I was really happy after yesterday, because it was so smooth as well when you're operating. You're not getting that feeling through the whole machine that you normally do this time of year, because ground is getting rock hard. And yeah, I was really happy, because
slight issue with our stabilizers. We're going to have to. We're a typical old John Deere problem. That single latch system, and it gets a little bit of wear in it, and an inch or 2 inches of play in it, the arms translates into a whole lot when you move back through a headstock. So, well, but the next time we'll have that ironed out. But these are little problems that you're going to have with tractors, and float was a bit of an issue. We weren't just getting float, but we know that's another historic problem there. So these are all
just lack of use on that.
These are the slight downsides to your to your older tractors that sit about a wee bit, you know. Well, look, Paul, thanks for obviously bringing out the rake. I don't know, maybe we don't know just the plan yet, but I would imagine that'll do a few demos. And we just thought the 6.9, the wee bit of steering, the guidance, it was a lovely match, and it was kind of sort of back to what we were trying to do here. It just shows that the old stuff can run the modern stuff as well, but it does need to be looked after, because you can see when the little bits of wear creep in the tractors, it could create issues.
Absolutely, no, it was a pleasure, and the energy in the field yesterday with all that machines going, like, it was something special, and yeah, you don't see it every day, that's for sure. But thanks again, Gareth.
Good man, Paul, thank you.